We're going to first read Joshua chapter 11 and then break it down for you.
Joshua 11. And it came to pass when Jabin, king of Hazor, had heard those things, that he sent to Jobab, king of Madon, and to the king of Shimron, and to the king of Achshaph, and to the kings that were on the north of the mountains and of the plains south of Chinneroth, and in the valley, and in the borders of Dor on the west, and to the Canaanite on the east and on the west, and to the Amorite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Jebusite in the mountains, and to the Hivite, under Hermon, in the land of Mizpeh. And they went out, they and all their hosts with them, much people, even as the sand that is upon the seashore, in multitude, with horses and chariots, very many. And when all these kings were met together, they came and pitched together at the waters of Merom, to fight against Israel. And the Lord said unto Joshua, Be not afraid because of them, for tomorrow about this time I will deliver them up all slain before Israel. Thou shalt hock their horses, and burn their chariots with fire. So Joshua came, and all the people of war with him, against them by the waters of Merom, suddenly, and they fell upon them. And the Lord delivered them into the hand of Israel, who smote them, and chased them unto great Zidon, and unto Mizraphoth-maim, and unto the valley of Mizpeh eastward, and they smote them until they left them none remaining. And Joshua did unto them as the Lord bade him. He hocked their horses, and burned their chariots with fire. And Joshua at that time turned back, and took Hazor, and smote the king thereof with the sword. For Hazor beforetime was the head of all those kingdoms. And they smote all the souls that were therein with the edge of the sword, utterly destroying them. There was not any left to breathe, and he burnt Hazor with fire. And all the cities of those kings, and all the kings of them did Joshua take, and smote them with the edge of the sword, and he utterly destroyed them, as Moses the servant of the Lord commanded. But as for the cities that stood still in their strength, Israel burned none of them, save Hazor only, that did Joshua burn. And all the spoil of these cities, and the cattle, the children of Israel took for a prey unto themselves. But every man they smote with the edge of the sword until they had destroyed them, neither left they any to breathe. As the Lord commanded Moses his servant, so did Moses command Joshua, and so did Joshua. He left nothing undone of all that the Lord commanded Moses. So Joshua took all that land, the hills, and all the south country, and all the land of Goshen, and the valley, and the plain, and the mountain of Israel, and the valley the same, even from the Mount Halak, that goeth up to Sire, even unto Baal-gad, in the valley of Lebanon, under Mount Hermon, and all their kings he took, and smote them, and slew them. Joshua made war a long time with all those kings. There was not a city that made peace with the children of Israel, save the Hivites, the inhabitants of Gibeon. All other they took in battle. For it was of the Lord to harden their hearts, that they should come against Israel in battle, that he might destroy them utterly, and that they might have no favor, but that he might destroy them as the Lord commanded Moses. And at that time came Joshua, and cut off the Anakims, from the mountains, from Hebron, from Debir, from Anab, and from all the mountains of Judah, and from all the mountains of Israel. Joshua destroyed them utterly with their cities. There was none of the Anakims left in the land of the children of Israel. Only in Gaza and Gath and in Ashdod there remained. So Joshua took the whole land, according to all that the Lord said unto Moses, and Joshua gave it for an inheritance unto Israel according to their divisions by their tribes. And the land rested from war.
The title of today's lesson is When the Enemy Looks Too Big. See, Joshua chapter 11 teaches a powerful truth that the size of your enemy doesn't determine your future. God determines your future. The book of Joshua chapter 11 records Israel's greatest military challenge since entering the promised land, and after defeating the southern coalition in Joshua chapter 10, Joshua now faces a massive alliance of northern kings led by Jabin, king of Hazor. And this chapter is about trusting God against overwhelming odds, courage, complete obedience, God's faithfulness, and finishing the assignment. And the central lesson on this is that the size of the enemy never determines the outcome when God is fighting for his people. And I'm going to give you several points here. Point number one is that the greatest opposition never came near the end. See, they went out, they and all their hosts with them, Joshua 11:4. And the Bible describes the enemy as the sand that is upon the seashore in multitude. The significance of this is that just because you've won previous battles doesn't mean the biggest challenge is behind you. In fact, some of the greatest opposition comes just before a major breakthrough. So don't assume resistance means you're out of God's will. See, sometimes resistance means you're close to victory. Point number two, God told Joshua not to be afraid. In Joshua 11:6, it says, "Be not afraid because of them." The significance is that God knew Joshua would see massive armies, he would see horses, he would see chariots, he would see superior military resources. But before the battle started, God addressed Joshua's fear. See, faith begins when we trust God's promise more than what we see. Point number three, Israel could not trust military strength. God instructed Joshua to disable the horses and burn the chariots. The significance of this is that in the ancient world, horses represented power. Chariots represented military superiority, and God wanted Israel's confidence to remain in him. And sometimes God removes what we might be tempted to trust instead of him. Get the point of that? Point number four, Joshua obeyed completely. And Joshua 11:9 says, Joshua did unto them as the Lord bade him. The significance is that Joshua didn't partially obey. He followed God's instructions completely to the letter. And this is one of the reasons Joshua experienced consistent victory. See, partial obedience is still disobedience. You have to obey God completely. Point number five, Hazor had to fall. Hazor, Hazor, was the most powerful city in northern Canaan. And the significance is that Joshua captured and destroyed it. The message was clear. No stronghold was too powerful for God. And every believer faces Hazors, problems that seem impossible to overcome. And God specializes in defeating whatever appears undefeatable. Point number six, some victories take time. In Joshua 11:16, Joshua made war a long time with all those kings. The significance is that not every battle ended overnight. Some victories required endurance. And this was an important lesson. God promises are certain, but fulfillment sometimes requires patience and perseverance. Point number seven, the land finally had rest. In Joshua 11:23, it says, and the land rested from war. The significance is that after years of conflict, God gave Israel rest. And this demonstrates God's faithfulness. It demonstrates the completion of a season, and it demonstrates the reward of perseverance. God does not bring his people into battle without also providing seasons of rest. So the major theme of Joshua chapter 11 is this: God gives victory to those who trust him and faithfully complete the assignment he's given them. Joshua did not quit when the enemy looked overwhelming. He trusted God and continued forward. Joshua chapter 11 teaches that no enemy is too great, no stronghold is too powerful, and no challenge is too overwhelming when God is leading the victory. So continue to renew your mind. Enough said.